Hey, Suzanne here with Caregiver Haven. So, one of the things we want to talk about today is changing the caregiving relationship. And this is an amazing webinar in that we're going to learn to stop doing certain things, and caring about your loved one isn't just managing their health, it's about preserving their dignity. So, what are the 8 things that we should never make our senior do? This is going to surprise a lot of you, and you're going to say, there's no way. But I want you to think as we go through these 8 things about how much control you have and how little control they have. The main thing we do when we caregive is keep our senior safe. We want the best for them, but is the best for them taking away from their own choices and their dignity? So, the hardest thing that we're going to look at is letting go of this control, of the perfection and the expectations we have in caring for our senior. Remember, our seniors aging, their disabilities are getting greater. Their emotions, their mental attitude, all of these things are bigger challenges for us as the days, the weeks, and the years go by. So, are we going to let go? And what kind of relationship are we going to have? Let's talk about it. Okay, first thing, the hidden harm of over control. We're going to talk about that. The 8 things you really shouldn't force your senior to do. How to offer freedom without the chaos. I'll show you the tricks there. And letting go is going to help both of you. And I'll show you what this looks like. And then the emotional reset. This is really going to turn caregiving into connection. We're going to talk about why so many people burn out and how they get balance back into their lives again. All right, number 1 is don't make them eat when they're not hungry, when they say they're hungry. So let's say loss of appetite is usually a signal of physical or emotional changes. When people are sick, they don't want to eat. So something else is going on. It's not necessarily stubbornness. Something is bothering them. So forcing food during these meal times can turn into a battle. So instead, leave things around the house. One of the things you might look at is a protein shake. But first, taste the protein shake. How do you like the taste of it? They don't want to drink it because it doesn't taste good. Do they have to drink the whole thing all at once? That's too filling for them. Maybe they can drink it throughout the day. Okay? So offer it in tiny different bits. Sometimes when you're drinking, they'll see and they'll mirror your actions. So it's not only words, but it's action that they see. So you drink lots of water, they'll drink lots of water. Drink in front of them. The other thing is there is a really good protein shake out there. It's called Urban Remedy, and it's really is a protein shake. It's not these manufactured full of chemical stuff that you see a lot of. So you can also talk to their doctor about appetite triggers, or supplements that they can take that make them hungry. One of the things is vitamins and minerals, just a daily vitamin sometimes boosts their energy, makes them want to eat more because they're hungry. But the secret tip is that flavor and familiarity often beat the calorie counts. So make it something they really love. And one caregiver told me that her dad, he didn't want to eat dinner. He refused it until she served him pancakes one night. They were full of protein. She put protein powder in the pancakes. She fed it to him, and lo and behold, he never missed another breakfast. He wanted breakfast. That was it. He didn't want dinner. He didn't like dinner. He didn't like lunch. He wanted breakfast. So what did she do? She made him breakfast every night. Okay, don't make them bathe on your schedule. Now, I know we say that seniors need to bathe. This is true. But bathing resistance often comes from fear, modesty, or fatigue. And sometimes they're just uncomfortable, they're cold. So the things like warming up the bathroom, so it feels warm to them, making it kind of like a spa with soft music, a warm washcloth, or their favorite robe can transform resistance into cooperation. Sometimes having them just put their robe on and sitting for a few minutes before the bath helps them. So try shifting the timing or the turning into that spa like moment for them. Seniors will often prefer an evening routine when the house feels calmer. So, and here's the other thing you're going to incorporate into your caregiving, which is going to make a monumental change, is choices. So you give them a choice, and the choice might be, would you like to bathe this morning or this evening be better for you? Would you like to have a bit would you like to have a shower this morning, or would you like to just have a sponge bath? Let me sponge for you. So giving them choices. What else could you do? Would you like me to sponge bathe you in the kitchen, or would you like the bathroom? Different places, or your bedroom. So you don't always have to do it in the same room. You don't always have to do it in the bathroom. Maybe convenient for you, but maybe they like it in the bedroom. You can give them choices. Here's another choice. Would you like Mary, the caregiver, who comes in to bathe you, or would you like me? It's a dignity thing. They don't want their child bathing them and wiping them in private places. They might want that caregiver to do it. Okay. Would you like to do it yourself and I can help? There's another choice. You have these choices. Start thinking about you're creative. If you're a caregiver, you're creative. So think about all the ways that you can create these options for them. And remember, adjusting all of this is just keeping the peace. You don't have to control it. All right. Don't make them give up all control. Losing independence. And we don't want to lose our independence. They don't either. They're losing their identity. So when we take over every choice, from their clothes to their breakfast to their bathing, we're saying to them, you can't handle it anymore. We don't like it either. If you've ever had a boss that micromanages you, how do you feel about that? We get angry, we get frustrated. We're like, we can do this, but they won't let us. They want to do it for us. Or we ask them about something on our cell phone, and they grab our phone away and do it. We don't want them to do it. We want them to show us how to do it. So how many show thems do you put in your daily day with them? How many times do you show them versus doing it for them? So don't say things like, you can't handle life anymore. You can't handle this. Here, let me do it. Give them the choice. Do you want the blue sweater today or the green one? You will get the cooperation and the confidence. One lady told me that she lays out the outfit for her mom every night, until one day she said, "Mom, let's what would you prefer, this outfit or this outfit?" And she said, "Oh, I hate that outfit. I want this one instead." She never knew that her mom hated the very outfit she liked the most, and she thought her mom looked the best in. Her mom hated that outfit, but never said anything. Choices. Give them choices. It is amazing when they start to speak up when you give them the choice. So choice is going to give them back their dignity too. Always find a way to offer it. Next, don't make them socialize when they don't want to. Well, this is a shocker, because we want our loved one to socialize. Getting them out of the house is going to cheer them up. That's what we think. But it's forced socialization, and it's going to overwhelm them or embarrass them when they feel out of place. One caregiver wants to take her mom out to eat, but her mom has tremors, the essential tremors in her hands. It's not Parkinson's, it's just that her hands shake. And she goes to scoop up food on the fork, and by the time she gets it into her mouth, there's no food on the fork. It's very embarrassing for them. And we can't feed her, right? So, how's the best way for her to get food in her mouth? Her hands. She has to use her hands, not a utensil. And that's embarrassing. People don't eat with their hands. They were taught at 1 years old, 2 years old, to use utensils. So it makes it difficult. So a quieter way to connect might be with phone calls, small visits, or shared hobbies, things they like to do. The goal isn't a social activity, it's the emotional comfort. So connection doesn't always mean conversation. Sometimes silence can be bonding too. And we see this over and over again in senior communities where we see everybody sitting around in a circle in their wheelchairs. Nobody's talking. And you think, what are they do? This isn't socialization. It very much is socialization, especially men. Men don't talk as much as women. I'm going to say that. And so what happens is the men will come back from these social events and tell me, I had the best time with Mr. So and so. And I'm like, what? You didn't even talk to him. It was socialization. They loved it. So let them socialize like that. They don't even need to talk to each other. They might watch a sport together. They might just sit there. They might be checking out other senior, female. They might be thinking about, she's looking pretty good. You don't know what's going through their mind. Let them be. Let it go. Let them be. It's going to avoid the burnout that you're pushing towards if you don't let go of a lot of these things. All right, don't make them move faster than they can. This is a risk of them falling or creating anxiety for them, and if they're anxious, they will fall. So if your pace becomes their stress, you're both going to end up frustrated. This is a time thing. So if it takes 10 minutes to get them in the car, make it 30. And as they age more and more, it might take an hour to get them in the car. One of the things with bedtime is with my mom, it took an hour to get her to bed. Is there anything special I needed to do? No. All she needed to do was brush her teeth. Liked her face washed, and then she liked to get on her robe without being cold. So we had to do that quickly. But that still took an hour. Everything took an hour. Why? Because I moved at her pace. I didn't move at mine. We could do it in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. But for her, I let her take her time. I did not rush her. So I knew that we started her bedtime an hour before. So think about how you do their bedtime. How do you take their walks? The walks, it slows you down, it's going to slow them down. Good. It should. So let silence and pauses do the heavy lifting. You don't have to. The best tools is keeping everyone safe. So add that extra time as they get older and older. Add more and more time to their daily routines. They will think they're busy. They will think, "Oh my gosh, I've been busy all day. It took an hour and a half to get up in the morning. It took an hour to eat my breakfast. It took, 20 it took an hour and a half to 2 hours to bathe me." They think they're busy all day when you and I both know we could have done it in 10 minutes. All right, don't make them remember what they can't. This is sad because I see so many caregivers saying things like they're correcting. They're correcting. Um, if they say it's October and it's really January, you don't have to correct them. That's just, you know what, they just forgot, and they will start retrieving into a life of silence if you continue to correct them. So when seniors can't um, recall dates, names, or details, sometimes just redirect the topic. Just give them another topic to talk about. You know when their doctor's appointment is, and you can say, you know what, we've got that covered. Let's change the subject and do that. All right. So it's going to increase frustration. Don't be checking and saying, "No, Dad, look on your phone. Here's what it says here. I'm going to correct you." You don't have to always correct them. And you know what? When you let this go, it's going to protect their emotional well-being, and it's going to prevent shame on them. And many times you and I both know there are times when we've told a friend a story and they look at us and say, "You've already told me that." And we feel like fools and we can't help it. And then we get to a point especially if we're stressed, we say, tell me if I've already told you this, to protect them from saying, you already told me this. So we preface our story because we can't remember who we told what to and why we said it or whatever, right? Well, they feel the same way. So we don't want to do this to them over and over again. All right. Don't make them pretend everything's fine. We don't need to be their cheerleader, especially through these hard days. It's a toxic positivity, and it is going to shut down their real emotions. Seniors need space to grieve their losses, their aging, their loneliness. They need to grieve this. So, just listening without fixing is going to be one of the greatest healing acts you can do. Just listen to them and just say, gosh, that sounds really hard. Gosh, that must be difficult for you. Don't plagiarize them, but let them know that you're hearing them. But you don't have to fix it. Let them grieve. It's something my 98-year-old mom said to me one day. She said, that's the losses. It's the hearing loss, the eye loss, the inability to walk the way I used to, using a wheelchair. It's the losses of not being able to do all the things I wanted to do all day. And then she said, my Christmas list gets shorter every year. And I said, that's hard. You've lost your friends. And she said, I've lost my friends, my girlfriends that I've known since high school, since college, being at their weddings, watching their children grow, seeing them with hearing about their grandkids. I lost my friends. And she has. So me fixing it by saying, well, you just need younger friends. That doesn't work. She wanted time to grieve. So let's do that for our seniors. And then don't make them stop doing what brings them joy. If your mom or dad, for instance, love to garden and they're in a wheelchair and they can't garden anymore, you know what you can do? You can take them out to the garden and you can say, what kind of flowers are these? What kind of flowers are these? Is this a weed? What would you do differently in this garden, Dad? How would you have gardened this? And maybe they'll say, cut those flowers. Here's the way you cut them and bring them in to make a bouquet. So watering plants, folding towels, or fixing things around the house might bring them joy. But you don't want them up on a ladder. They're not going to be safe. But if you go up on the ladder and say, all right, tell me what I need to do once I get up there, it's making them feel like they're worthy of something. So let them do that. Let them tell you how to fix things. It's not wrong. It's harmless. Let them do it. Remember, joy is medicine. Letting them feel like they belong, letting them feel like they're participating in something, letting them feel that they have value in your life instead of you controlling everything they do, brings back their dignity and makes them calmer. It's really going to lift their spirits. The ripple effect. Let's talk about this, because when you start letting go and you start giving them choices and you start letting them be who they want to be and doing it with safety and not control, you're going to start connecting with them. It's a huge ripple effect. Letting go of that control is also going to build trust. And it's going to change everything for you. Your senior is going to become more open and your stress level is going to drop. It's a shift from managing to partnering. I'll give you a perfect example of this. One caregiver has a brother. His brother falls all the time. He doesn't mean to fall, but he falls. So he broke his back. So he went into surgery and he had hardware put into his spine because he had a crushed spine. And sure enough, he's up and walking again. He falls again. He crushes another part of his spine, even with the hardware in it. Now his legs don't function anymore. He doesn't tell his sister. He doesn't tell her. He tells his brother about what happened to him, that he fell again, but he never tells his sister. Why? Because his sister was controlling his every move. His sister was saying to him, hey, you got to go to the doctor, call the doctor again, get into physical therapy, call your primary care physician, call the spinal surgeon, you've got to get an MRI, you've got to get this, get this, get this, get this. Sister would say that to him. Whereas the brother just said, what can I do to help? Is there anything you need from me? And so when this caregiver told me this story, she began to realize that she was controlling him. He didn't want her control. He knew he had to call the spinal surgeon. He knew he had to tell his primary care that he had changes in medicine now, that in his medications now, that his leg wasn't working anymore. He couldn't hide this, but he trusted his family. He trusted his physicians. He didn't need her to tell him what to do. So it was a real wake-up call for her. So what is your senior telling you, and what are they telling other people? Ask yourself this. Remember, we got to let go of all this. So if you hear yourself saying things like just do it, or oh, we don't have time, or something like because I said so, it's a red flag. Is it truly necessary to do these things? And remember, giving them choices, going back to how many choices, you're creative. How many choices can you give them? It simply resets the power struggles, and it keeps love at the center of this. And ask yourself sometimes, what would happen if you didn't do it? What would happen if she didn't bathe? What would happen? Many senior care communities, unfortunately, tell me this, but they only bathe the senior when the family is coming that day. Otherwise, they let the senior go, as long as they're not, breaking out with skin irritations because they're dirty. They just let it go. So, self awareness is going to replace control with curiosity. Start asking yourself, what options can I give them? There's a zillion of them. When it's time to eat, would you like to eat in the dining room? Would you like a nice place setting? Would you like to eat in the kitchen? Would you like to eat in front of the TV? Would it be better if I gave them snacks all around the house? What about that protein shake? What if I broke that up into just little sips throughout the day? Would that help them? What if I drank one with them? It's time for our protein shake. What about vitamins? What about medication? Would it be better if they had liquid or capsule or tablet? Do they have to take them all at once? What if they took them throughout the day? What if we called them vitamins and we stopped calling them medications? Choices. You have so many different options to give them. Start being creative. So, what to do instead? Let's encourage, because this is going to create cooperation. So, replace commands with invitations. Would you like to blah, blah? Instead of you need to. Mom, you need to do this. You need to do that. Forget it. Every word carries emotional weight. Choose the words that empower them, are not going to dictate them. Say something like, I'd love your help with the laundry. Can you fold these towels for me? I'd love I'd love to I'd love to have you go to the grocery store with me. Would you mind? I'd love to um I'd love to comb your hair. Can I do that for you? Or um something like, let's pick out your outfits together. What will make you feel pretty? Sometimes it's just that. It's important because it reframes the care as teamwork, not as a tug of war. So you're letting them help you. If they can chop up something, let them chop it up in the kitchen, as long as they don't hurt themselves. And then there's also self-reflection. And what I mean by that is, are you holding on to things that are no longer serving you? Are you holding on to things that are no longer serving your senior? Let them go. Let it go. Let it be. Sometimes letting your senior be who they are is going to allow you to breathe again. Let them do what they need to do. You might not approve of it, but they want their freedom just like you want yours. You don't want somebody managing you all the time. They don't want somebody managing them. Give them the choices. What is really important here? It's important that they stay safe. It's important that they stay healthy. So, yes, we don't want them going to the doctor because they have skin irritations because they didn't stay clean. We want them clean. We want the food to be the right food so they don't go to the doctor because they're constipated. We want them clean so they don't go to the doctor because of a urinary tract infection. We don't want them going to the doctor because of a fall. If you start using that terminology, we don't want them going to the doctor because we'll realize that there are really very few things that they need to have to do. We want to keep them safe. We want to keep them healthy, but we want them to choose those things. Peace comes when you stop trying to be perfect. There is nowhere in a sentence that peace and perfection should be in the same sentence. It just doesn't work like that. We got to let go and we got to let it be. So what did we learn? Okay, the hidden harm of over control. It they start to draw back. They don't share with us anymore when we're the controller. They don't want to hear it, so they don't tell us. So is your senior not telling you? Or are you having open conversations with them? Then we talked about the 8 things never to force. Give them options and think about all the things that you can give them options with. I would write these down and I would start using them. I would be excited to create these different options. Would you like to do this or would you like to do this? And if they say neither, then go to C. Would you like to do C or D or E or F? All these things. How to offer freedom without chaos. Let them make those choices and then letting go. It's going to help both of you. It is one of the biggest things I see in the class from burnout to balance. When we start talking about this self awareness and we begin to realize how much we do control our senior and we start letting go, we start getting our balance back. We start putting in our days our own life. And really, what caregivers want as they start to burn out is their life back. And they don't realize that their life can get back to normal, and it will get back to normal when they start letting go of so many things we're trying to control on our parent. The other thing is the emotional reset that turns caregiving into connection. And we actually start partnering with our senior. We're partnering with this aging person. And as we partner, we promote. Those 2 words belong in the same sentence. Partnership and promote. Freedom is the best gift you can give your loved one. So let it go, let it be, let them make those choices, and you give them those options. You can do this. So we'll talk soon. Take care. And if you have any questions, let me know.